All right, boys.
Brother.
Your boy, Mr. Q. See, it wouldn't be an RGH podcast if there wasn't
That's right.
some mistake, some technical difficulty. I'm like fluorescent glowing because the camera's in here.
Yeah, you gotta chill with the lighting there, bro.
Hey, everyone. We are RGH, or the Real Gamer Hour. Normally, we stream Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, but we got an awesome opportunity to celebrate raising money for St. Jude, and we're doing the podcast here on a beautiful Saturday from our home, not Florida, unfortunately. But we're gonna have a good time today. We've got some great topics.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, next year. Bring us back. We'll have some fun. Today, we're gonna be talking about a bunch of different topics.
Who are we? We should probably introduce ourselves, Tash.
I thought we did. We're the RGH Podcast. I mean, I'm M Tash. This is Cactus HD. This is True Vanguard.
True Vanguard.
I'm True Vanguard, everybody.
Do they need to know? Like, I feel like they should know by now. And if not, what do you do?
All right, let's start out with topic number 1. We're going to talk about a toaster causing drama. Topic number 2, console wars rage on. 3, our top 3 from E3. We'll talk about the chat's top 3 as well. Talk about how gaming does good. We have a little bit of donation incentive, but we placed it way too high. If we get, I would say right now, if we get 5K donations somehow, GCX said, maybe don't talk about the ASMR stuff, but we'll talk. As soon as we hit 5K, we'll talk about it.
Honestly, if you give us $50, we might consider it. Like, at this point, just donate some money to St. Jude. And
is there a donation link in the chat too?
Yeah, there will be some.
Is it like on a rotator? I'm sure it will be. Yeah, typically what we do, everybody, is every week we look back on the past 7 days in the gaming community, not just gaming news, but in the community as well. Like, what's going on? What do we want to talk about? Fill people in. Maybe drop some spicy takes on what's happening. And the first one we got here is actually kind of funny. I think it's kind of funny because there's a gun. If you're not a Destiny gamer, there's a gun in Destiny called the Jotun, and people have memed on it for so long because it looks like it's like a Mega Man hand cannon, but it kind of looks like a toaster. And so Bungie, the developers of Destiny, decided, hey, why not lean into that meme a little bit? And they decided to sell on their merch store.
Well, it was for a donation goal last year for.
That's right.
At the time, Guardian Con, they reached an insane donation goal, and Bungie said, if we reach this goal, we'll make an actual Jotun toaster. Like, we're going to make it an actual thing. You can buy a Jotun toaster. And everyone, of course, they hit that goal. Everyone's been asking for it. And then recently, they showed it off. It's a toaster. It's not really shaped like it is the Jotun symbol, but it's a toaster, and it cooks the Destiny symbol on your bread. It doesn't even toast your whole bread. It cooks like a very small amount of your bread. Maybe you can change it, but every picture they have, it just cooks the Destiny symbol, and the rest of the bread is like not even touched.
Well, it cooks the edges, and then it cooks hard in the middle of the Destiny logo.
Yeah. It looks like a terrible toast. Like, I'm not eating toast out of that thing. Like, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
But Ryan, weren't you saying that is like you can like put like any brand's logo on those types of toasters? It's like
okay. So yeah, here's the deal. The toaster itself has it's I don't know, kind of make it's kind of similar to like Teespring in a sense, right? Where they've got shirts, and you're just paying to put what you want on it. Okay, now this toaster is kind of a similar idea. It's a third party that makes these toasters, and you can purchase the right to put whatever you want on it and whatever symbol you want on the inside. Okay, and that's what Bungie did. They paid to have the Jotun symbol, right? It's that hand on the outside of the toaster. The color scheme is supposed to be like the Black Armory, and then on the inside it makes the Destiny logo. Now, people are really upset about this because they feel like this isn't unique enough. It's not it doesn't look like the Jotun. Other than looking like a toaster.
But there's two camps. Obviously, the Destiny community has to be upset about something, but there's actually two different camps of people upset about different things. Like you said, some people are upset that this isn't a good enough toaster. They want an exact Jotun replica, right? Made out of like steel forged from the actual Black Armory. And then there's the other group of people that are just mad that Bungie's selling a toaster at all, and it's like $80 or something, and people are like think it's a big ripoff, and it's like that you added a toaster before you added a PvP map type of people.
Yeah, so but what's the fix to that argument? Add some PvP maps.
Make some maps.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
You eliminate one hate.
Yeah, exactly. Bungie, if they just added a PvP map, all this criticism would stop. They're like, no, we can't do that. We gotta think of something else.
I mean,
let me ask you this: do you think this is a big deal, or do you think people are blowing this out of proportion?
It's a fun thing. It's like if they would have made it an actual like replica Jotun and had custom molding and stuff, it would be like a $150, $200 toaster. No one's gonna buy a $200. Well, I say that, but someone's gonna buy it. But it's like they made it a little bit more accessible. 10% of the profits go to St. Jude's. It's for a good cause. It's just a fun thing. I think it's being blown out of proportion.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike?
I mean, they raised a bunch of money for St. Jude last year, and it was kind of a meme. And I mean, maybe they didn't even think they'd hit it, but also it's like they're a game developer. Do they have like the ability to craft it? Like, are they going to get
division?
Right? Are they going to get in George Foreman and be like, you make the grills? Can we do a toaster? Like, what are they doing here?
Well, this is why they can't make any PvP maps. They took the PvP map making division and put them on toaster duty.
You're on toaster duty.
We need an even cook. We need some nice dials. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
They had to take engineering courses just so they could figure out how to make this toaster.
Well, in addition to it, if you bought the toaster, you don't just get the toaster. You also get like an in-game emblem to show off. Yeah. So it's more than just the toaster. But I just thought it was so funny that it's like, well, what's the community going to be mad about this week? It's a toaster. It's a literal toaster.
Imagine like trying to explain to someone who like doesn't play Destiny, be like, so there's this toaster, and people are very upset. It's like, okay, all right, but I think that's it for the drama. Let's move on to the console wars. Some more drama, because we're going to talk about this more for the E3 event, but during E3, Xbox has been making some big moves. And one of the biggest moves is that Xbox purchased Bethesda, right? Which is huge. And so we have some of these new Bethesda games like Starfield. Starfield has been long awaited. It's the first new IP from Bethesda in quite a while.
25 years.
But I think I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But it looks to be like it could be an Xbox exclusive. But these days.
Yeah, it is. It's confirmed. Okay. Xbox and PC, yeah.
The thing is, though, like Xbox exclusive these days, it means also PC. Like they're not. I don't think they're making it just on the actual console. I think it's PC Xbox. Well. It's basically a not PlayStation exclusive.
That's right.
That's all it really is. Like everything but PlayStation. And obviously, PlayStation people are not happy about this. Yeah. But then some Xbox people are calling them out, saying, "Hey, you guys are all for Horizon Zero Dawn." And we aren't allowed to complain. You guys just make fun of us, and then we get a cool exclusive, and then suddenly now exclusives are bad, right? And so there's a whole thing going on there.
Well, it's just because they're jealous because they want to play Starfield so bad, and they're like, "Wow,
that's right." Which I totally understand, and a lot of the Bethesda developers and people on the team actually weighed in on this conversation this past week in a few different interviews and some Vidocs and things like that were posted. And you even saw a little bit of disagreements within their own ranks. Like you had some people who were like, we are so sorry, like we understand this is not ideal for the PlayStation gamers out there. I'm a PlayStation gamer. I totally understand being upset about that. We're sorry about that, but we are committed to making an exceptional video game. And then you had people on the other end of the spectrum within their own ranks at Bethesda who came out and they said, hey man, it is what it is. We think this is the absolute best move for the game because what it lets us do is just completely focus on making the game for a specific platform. And that's so much easier than taking up development time and cost and manpower to make the game work on this platform and this platform and this platform.
And speaking of cost, they save the money because for the viewers who don't know, PlayStation is the only console that charges game developers to enable crossplay. Like Microsoft is like, well, I don't care, we'll do crossplay. PlayStation, you got to hand over those big bucks. And we found out recently that Borderlands 3 was enabling crossplay, but it's just between Xbox and PlayStation because Borderlands 3, they're like, we can't afford or we don't want to pay the money to have it on, especially since this is an older game. Yeah, between PlayStation. So it's like, PlayStation wants to be a little greedy here. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I think Sony was maybe a little too overconfident going into these discussions and dealings because they outsold the Xbox Series S and X in the first quarter of 2021 by more than double the units sold. Like it looked like they're the clear winners in the console wars, launching into the first real season of these next gen consoles. And so maybe they're like, we got maybe they saw that coming. So back when these deals were being made, they didn't feel the pressure. And now maybe they're regretting that a little bit.
I mean, I feel like Xbox, especially with Game Pass and Destiny, a lot of these future games, they're like, oh, by the way, if you have Game Pass, it's free on the first day. Like it's not just like Game Pass is like old games and getting rehashed games. It's like, oh, by the way, that brand new AAA game you've been waiting 4 years for, you can play it as long as you have Game Pass. Like, that's insanity.
Which is crazy.
The
That's
value
a great deal.
is amazing. Like, if you're a gamer, Xbox is such a win, it's not even funny. And honestly, maybe they outsold them because they just had more stock available. There's been scalpers, there's been BS where people just can't get any of these consoles. Maybe PlayStation just had more to throw around, and Xbox is going to catch up. If nothing else, Xbox is winning because of just like Game Pass. They're making hundreds of millions of dollars off that, billions in a year.
That's a
like
good
it's
point.
insane.
You can't go off sales. You can't go off sales because 50% of the consoles are owned by scalpers. So it's like PlayStation has sold, 250,000 PlayStations. But
how many of those are in a basement somewhere?
25 people actually on PlayStation because the rest are in the hands of the scalpers.
Right.
It's like how many people are actually playing the console? I'd be more interested in seeing those numbers because I guarantee there's so many consoles out there that have been sold that absolutely no one is utilizing.
The only thing I will definitely say about all this is I personally hate exclusives because there are people out there that they can't afford to get an Xbox and a PlayStation or a PlayStation and a PC or whatever the combination is. And then they're going to miss out on one of the potentially best games of the generation. They're going to miss out on those Horizon Zero Dawns. They're going to miss out on that. And that just sucks for gamers. And it's like, honestly, Sony, grow up. Grow up, Sony. Like let people play together. Let people have fun together. Do you need that extra couple dollars? Because I'll tell you what. Yeah, you might make some money off the developers, but you're losing people buying particular games. You're losing people who are going to like your brand long term because you seem like a tyrant. And it's like they're pulling a Nintendo in some cases where they're just like these weird gaming tyrants that aren't with the times,
The console wars are like, it's like, the elves versus the orcs as PlayStation, Sony, and then the hobbits is just Nintendo over there with their like little console that actually does super well, but like can barely run a mobile game. And it's like, and everyone wants like the Nintendo Switch Pro and stuff. It's like a wild triage because everyone's talking about exclusives, but like every game on Nintendo Switch is almost an exclusive. It's like odd when it's not an exclusive, but Nintendo never gets criticized. Everyone just like gives them a free pass.
And it's just Nintendo.
Is it because it's been there the same time?
Everyone's like, hey, it's Nintendo.
But at the same time, even that, like, can you think of how many games are on the Switch that like, if you could just play it on PC, it'd be incredible. Breath of the Wild, frame rates. Some of the Pokemons with better frame rates. We were talking about it. They were doing the trailer for that new Pokemon open world game, and it's dropping frames. It's having it's like having frame tearing in the trailer, and it's like, bro, you can't even run your own game.
Did you even try?
Put that on PC. Let me run around, get my Arcanine, riding around on this flaming dog and have a good time. At 120 FPS, not 14. I'm slow motion. I can't even catch an oddish because of all the lag.
I can't help but feel like Xbox is making the moves to overtake Sony in the later part of the race right now. It's such a big deal to have an exclusive. Like the original Xbox became a thing. Xbox became a brand because of Halo. And Halo wasn't exclusive. Like, if you want to play Halo, you got to buy the Xbox. Well, yeah, you look at several factors. So you look at the exclusives. You got Halo Infinite. You got Forza Horizon. You got Bethesda, the developers of some of the most iconic, best-selling RPGs in the history of gaming. They're now with Microsoft, confirmed having their new IP being exclusive to Xbox and PC. Not only that, not only the exclusives, but the fact that Game Pass gives gamers the ability to play brand new titles basically for free just because they pay for Game Pass, so they can dive right into these games right off the rip. Not only that, but you're also hitting a wide variety of gamer types because you've got the console gamers on the console itself, but you've also got these PC gamers who have great rigs. I don't own an Xbox Series S or X, but I have a really nice PC. I have the Xbox app. I have Game Pass, and I can play all these titles right here on my PC. And so I just feel like down the road, at some point, this has got to matter in a big way.
Well, Xbox is certainly banking on it mattering, right? I mean, like that. The thing is, as much as obviously I would rather just no game be exclusive to anything, from a practical and business standpoint, it's like they just paid what $7 billion for Bethesda. Like, obviously, they gotta get a couple exclusives out of that. They obviously want to be able to boost Xbox sales and Game Pass sales as well.
It's an interesting balance because it's like it's probably in Xbox's best interest to get those big exclusives, and they can get Fortnite exclusive. Like, you know what I mean? Like when they get these big games like Elder Scrolls exclusive, that makes them look good. But for the developers, that is a pretty big decision because you know, when you can have Fortnite on mobile, PC, and Nintendo, everything, then the game becomes bigger, which is, you know, something that these developers need to decide. Do we want to be exclusive to a console, maybe get a little bit of a payday, or do we want our brand to grow independently as a gaming brand?
What if it would be like, wouldn't it be easier to develop though if you only have to focus on one console and PC? That seems like, wouldn't it be?
You would imagine so.
You would imagine it would be a lot faster.
The hardware's different.
So that could be an advantage. Like you're launching in the same kind of architecture. So who knows? Yeah. Bruh, who knows? It's wild. But the next topic is going to be the top 3 from E3. So we're going to
really
talk
quickly.
You
guys should probably donate. Like I'm just saying, we're trying to raise some money for St. Jude. This is an amazing event. GCX, we've been doing it. You know, we've been going to it for years now, and we need to start breaking some records here. I think it was like $6 million last year. We got to beat that. So if you guys have even an extra dollar to spend, it can help save a child's life. So please, there should be a link in the chat there. Go ahead and donate, or even just below the stream here, there should be. So yeah,
we raised
top 3.
$100. We'll talk about the ASMR side.
If you just consider,
if you just even think about donating, we'll do it.
Okay, so top 3
we can't gauge. Yeah, I was gonna say the hard thing is we can't gauge what donations happen here and what happens on the other stream.
That's true,
because
it all goes to the same place. So, but why just do it anyways? Who knows?
Yeah. Right. Oh, look, we raised 10K. We didn't know. What a shock, boys. All right, top 3 from E3. It was a wild E3. So much stuff happened. And Tash, why don't you kick it off here?
Okay, so number 1 for me, Elden Ring. I'm a big Dark Souls guy. It looks like an open world Dark Souls. Elden Ring has my attention through and through. I know I can play it, you know, at my own pace. I don't have to be online with anyone. I can just enjoy. So that's number 1. Number 2, Starfield. I know nothing about it other than, hey, look at this. It's a Bethesda game, but I'm praying it's good. And now that I've looked at some more stuff, I think the Outer Worlds 2. First one, incredible game, and I'm really excited for the second one. I'm kind of in an RPG kick right now. Anything with loot and quests, I'm really into. And just honestly enjoying gaming on my own away from streams and stuff. So any games like that I can enjoy, I'm really excited about.
You're good. You're enjoying playing actual good games instead of Genshin.
Instead of a mobile game that I loathe and I can only play for 4 minutes on stream before I run out of content.
Oh man!
I turn on stream and when the intro thing is done, I'm like, all right, guys, that was it. Catch you later. But at least I got a bunch of waifu that I get to look at every day.
There you go.
Right? Like that's the saving grace, right?
I guess I'll go next.
Go for it.
Well, I'll start with number 3. Number 3, Halo Infinite. It's really interesting, especially since it's free to play. I'm just really interested to see if they can bring Halo back. Obviously, Halo's cracked. I'm not necessarily looking to get super competitive with it, but I hope they bring back the good old Forge mode. Everyone makes custom maps, and it's just like a fun friends game to play. Because dude, Halo 3. You know, Trash Compactor, Tremors, Duck Hunt. These are like the best party games ever made. Stairway to Heaven, so many good things. Okay. Number 2, Starfield. Know nothing about it, but Bethesda making an RPG set in space. That's all I need to know, frankly. You sold me. You know, I've already pre-ordered. You know, I'm a simple man. All right.
I even bought the toaster. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. Then number 1, Battlefield 2042. This game, I used to make Battlefield content before I got dragged into Destiny and never let go. So I love Battlefield. They're going back to the modern days, which is fantastic. No one wants to go and customize your gun in World War I. Oh, do you want to put a longer bayonet on? I don't care. Let me put 40,000 things. I want night vision. All right. So that's what I'm looking forward to. 128 players. Unbelievable. That by far, I'm so hyped for Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. All right, my top 3, starting at the bottom with number 3. Man, number 3 for me is a toss-up between Elden Ring, which Mike already talked about, and also the new Sea of Thieves crossover with content with the Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm a big fan of Sea of Thieves.
Tuesday?
So this is happening real soon. And it's a lot of content. So it's like something you can sink your teeth into like real soon. And me and my wife and our best friends from college, the four of us have run just hundreds and hundreds of hours in Sea of Thieves, done the whole Pirate Legend grind and beyond. And so we absolutely love this game. So having some new content that looks really expansive is something we've been craving in that game for a long time. So we're looking forward to diving right into that. And number 2 for me is Battlefield 2042, which was your number 1. I'm very excited for that game. Very excited for that. I've loved, still to this day, one of the peak gaming experiences that I've ever had is playing Rush on Damavand Peak, Battlefield 3 like that. That is such an iconic gaming experience, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they progress the Battlefield series and continue along that path that made those games so successful, 3 and 4. So definitely highly anticipating that. My number 1 is Starfield, because I'm an RPG guy to the core. I absolutely
You realize we've seen nothing about that game.
I know.
Listen,
we know
it's
my
number
game.
1.
We know it
most
exists.
Anticipated game, number 1, bar none. Because listen, these are the same teams that did Elder Scrolls 5 and Fallout 3, right?
Oh, another Fallout they did. This is the same people, or not the same people, but this is the same studio that did it. What's the other Fallout that came out recently? Oh,
it's recovered a bit though. Apparently,
had quite the resurgence, and it's got a great community boom in there.
Yeah, I mean, your list is fantastic, but that's the one thing about Starfield, dude. They put out Fallout 76, and they had that many disasters, and they had so many debacles about the
different genre, though. How do you compare those two things?
Well, no, I'm just talking about if the quality control is clearly an issue at Bethesda right now. Maybe it's a totally different studio, right? But it's like, it just does. I agree, I'm so hyped for Starfield, but the existence of 76 does cause me to just maybe be a little bit more reserved about Starfield.
Fair.
Yeah, that's why I don't have it as my number 1.
I try not to hold. It's difficult because you do want to hold companies accountable for their previous launches, but at the same time, that is such a different experience. This is, this is a new RPG. It's a solo player, open world exploration RPG, and when you compare apples to apples, there are other games of that specific genre. Banger after banger after banger after banger. Listen, I'm in, especially considering they've been banking on this IP for more than 2 decades now. They're heavily invested.
Yeah.
Heavily invested. This wasn't Fallout's doing well, let's make a MMO experience. You know?
I hope you're right.
I guess one of the games that I'm kind of feeling the way, what you're saying, Kat, is Halo Infinite. Because it was like Halo Reach. I was like, I don't like Halo Reach. Like, I don't like the direction the game's going. And then 4 doubled down, and I was like, holy cow. And then number 5.
5
was like, it was fine. There's some things that were okay. But like, it's just, the Halo franchise just really hasn't grabbed me. And everyone's kind of saying like Infinite is the make or break. And it does look beautiful. But I have this little voice that's a little terrifying. Yeah. If it's amazing, I'm going to be so happy because I was a Halo guy. I loved it. But I don't want to get my heart broken. I'm terrified. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've got cold sweats. I'm like, what if it sucks? And then,
dude, you're right.
And then it's done. And then there's no more Halo. Right?
Dude, I mean, last year, they had the guns made out of Play-Doh, and they had Craig the Brew. What was that game? Bro, last year, they were like, they were going to release last year. Thank goodness someone was like, brother, we cannot do this.
It looked worse than a Nintendo game. What the heck?
Yeah, Switch could have ran it last year.
That's right.
It was rough. And so, holy crap, they seem to have made a lot of progress. They made a lot of progress, and it looks way better this year, right? And they should be commended for that. But at the same time, they've like switched the like lead developer guy like 2 or 3 times. Like they hired someone, he's like, I'm out of here. Then they like got someone else, and the other guy's like, I'm out of here. And I think they hired the original guy back. And then but like clearly development has not been good. Like,
it's not an ideal situation. Yeah,
you don't lose like multiple main lead developers if everything's running smoothly, right? So clearly there's something going.
Do you know what I wonder, just really quickly on that, is in a game like Halo where PvP is a major part of that, that franchise, even if this developer, the leads are leaving, what if the other teams are still able to make really cool maps, work on some weapon balance and some of that, the art textures? And like, I wonder if maybe they're leaving because of the story. They're saying, no, Chief can't do that because. Do you know what I mean? Like, like maybe they've written out a story and the people in charge are saying, no, I'm not making a game with that story.
Right. Maybe they don't believe the narrative.
But they could still make a map. They could still make PvP look really good. And like, that's the thing is we saw the story, like we saw that mission looked pretty trash. But then they go and show this highlight of the PvP and it looks damn good. So like, maybe that is all up to date.
It does seem like two separate things. Like
truly,
like MP is on its own, free to play, and then single player is on its own. That's going to cost money. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm going to try to keep an open mind with Halo Infinite, but I'm going in tentatively because I have not been excited about Halo in a long, long time because I've just been delivered too many disappointments. So I have to admit that what they showed looked like a really good and well-polished experience, and I will definitely play it, but it's not in my top 3 because I have no excitement for the game right now.
So something in the chat that I want to say is like almost like an honorable mention is Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I am super interested in that. The Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep was the best Borderlands 2 DLC. Love the vibe, the fact that they're leaning into that and making a full game. It's going to have more melee combat and spell casting and so on. Very, very excited for that. The only problem is just Borderlands 3 did a lot of things right and it did a lot of things wrong. And, no raid bosses until maybe recently. I think they added one, but no raid bosses at launch meant that you got to the end game. As soon as you got to the end game, you were done with the end game. It was there were some bizarre choices made. And so Borderlands 3 didn't grab me the way that Borderlands 2 did, by not even close. And so that kind of gives me pause, but I still love the franchise. I'm excited for it.
Here's what I'm thinking is if you look at like Titanfall, awesome game. Titanfall 2, really good game, good campaign. But then they took the bones of that and they make Apex and it turns into its own thing.
Yeah.
Extremely successful, amazing thing. What if Tiny Tina does that? They've taken the bones, they've taken that formula, they've taken some of the loot, they've taken, they can animate cool abilities. They can animate enemies. They know what they're doing. How do we know that this game won't be one of the next big things? And it's just like sitting there. And that's the thing I'm always wondering is like these companies, they're eventually going to make that next banger, that next thing that is a AAA, unbelievable, unanimously loved thing. We get a lot of stinkers, like we absolutely do. But what if this is one of those ones where it just shines? That's my big hope for Tiny Tina is like, I've loved the Borderlands universe, but what if this is just that change that I need? I like the goofy quirkiness. I like the looting. But for some reason, I get kind of bored with a lot of the guns in Borderlands for some reason. I just don't grind that game the way I have other RPG games. If this one has some skill trees and you could cast spells and maybe alter them, it could be a really big thing for someone like myself.
And they earned a lot of good faith in that sort of fantasy genre with Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. Like that DLC was just so good, and it did let you do some sort of spell casting things, like some of the grenade mods you could pick up were actually
the fireball,
and the fireball, So all of that, and not only that, but even just like the sort of fantasy world elements, like you're fighting orcs and trolls and the tree ants that are marching through the forest, and all of that stuff they did exceptionally well. And so I mean, I have a lot of faith in them within that subgenre to produce some pretty interesting content. So I'm definitely excited to try it out.
And maybe that art style just works better with enemies like that too. Like it works the way it does, but like when I see like a big cell shaded ant and orc, I'm like, okay, I want to fight that.
Yeah.
And so
and it was it's like there's so many like references and stuff to that fantasy genre, Lord of the Rings references, all that stuff. They can like lean into that and like kind of leaning on the tropes as well. I think it just has so much potential. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Regardless of E3 though, the biggest news, like the thing that everyone's most hyped for, is the Borderlands movie though, right? Anyway, we'll save that for another episode. Okay.
How many cameos is Pitchford gonna have in the movie? How many times is he gonna be in the background?
He's gonna be every character. Hey, it's me, Roland.
I hope that movie's good. It has a lot of potential. Certainly, it's a good universe, but some of the casting has got me scratching my head. Certainly for that. I mean, most famously, Kevin Hart as Roland. Roland's the straight man. He's like the very serious guy for the entire franchise.
Yeah.
What's going on?
He's 6'2", bulky, wide shoulders.
He's very like matter of fact,
stoic.
No jokes coming from him.
Did you guys watch that movie though? Where with Bryan Cranston in the wheelchair? Kevin Hart plays like a pretty serious character in that one. Like he might be able to pull it off, and it could shock us. We'll see.
Yeah,
I think it's called The Upside.
I hope it all comes together, but it's like every casting that I've been like, what?
I think what happened is they showed up to filming one day of Jumanji to ask The Rock. They're like, Dwayne Johnson, can you be Roland? He's like, I got some other stuff going on, but hey, here's my buddy Kevin Hart. You can chat with him about it.
No, I think they were probably at like just at some sort of event, and Kevin Hart watched Randy Pitchford's magic trick, and he's like, "You're in. You're cast right away.
I like your magic. You're hired.
You're hired on the spot." All right, it's time to move on here to potentially the second to last.
Yeah, second to last. Who knows?
Which is Gaming Does Good. TV, why don't you take this one? Go ahead.
Okay, happy to. One of the things that we love so much about GCX and in the past years, Guardian Con, as it's been rebranded since then, is really just the amount of good that they do philanthropically, talking about all the donations, really significant donations that the gaming community sort of funneled through GCX, all these donations that they're able to give, we're talking millions of dollars, like huge astronomical figures. It's really interesting if you break down some of the major donors for St. Jude, and this isn't, I want to make sure we're not like trying to undercut or undervalue the donations that anyone else makes, but you look at the corporate world, and there's some big name corporations that don't do as much philanthropically or probably around right on par. And it's so cool to see how a gaming community that's largely composed of individuals, people like you and me, and people in chat who are just getting excited about the opportunity to support, children of St. Jude and to further the research, to help build new facilities, to help develop new treatments, all of that stuff. And so, you think of, for example, I think Domino's right now holds the record for the most money committed in terms of donations to St. Jude's, and their commitment was like $10 million a year for 10 years, so totaling $100 million. And it's really cool to think about how that's really not that far off from what GCX is able to produce and what people like you and Chad are able to produce. That's so cool.
We're at 3.6 this year right now already, partway through, right? And
are we gonna
it was like 6 last year. So I mean, that is incredible, the scope of that. And I think the beauty of it is it isn't one guy. It's not Ninja and Shroud showing up and dropping all the cash, but it's some companies and some big streamers and $1 here and $1 there, and it adds up, and it's this big community thing, this big community push. And without coming together like this, it would never reach $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $6 million. That is changing lives, and it's cool to be part of something like that, even if we're just a tiny part.
It's also such an amazing thing because even still, gaming and gamers can have some negative connotations, right? You'll see the newscast talking about gaming. Is your child gaming too much or whatever? Yeah. But this shows no, like gaming is not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. It's a positive thing in a lot of our lives. And when a bunch of gamers get together, they can, do just as much as, if not way more than these massive corporations. So which is a really exciting thing.
Yeah,
it's cool too because it honestly, it not only is it inspiring, but it also kind of puts some pressure out there. It's like look at what a bunch of gamers are able to accomplish through this annual convention that they take part of.
Hey, Jeff Bezos,
Macy's is over here like, whoa, okay, maybe we gotta like step that, you know what I'm saying?
Gamers raise this much? Oh.
Yeah, let's just donate 0.0% of our profits Like that's the thing is like Bezos alone, like not even Amazon, like just Bezos could like just drop so much money that could change lives. And it's like, no, I need $80 billion instead. Like that's much more important.
Like you said, this is a good thing because it's just a conglomeration of a bunch of individuals that is donating these big amounts, and it does put pressure on these companies because if they do try to like lower the ball, people can point to this and say, "Well, you're not even donating as much as a bunch of gamers," and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, you don't."
They don't even have jobs. They live in their mom's basement. At least I do.
So it's like it is great. It just ups the interest, it ups the excitement. It just overall it's going to lead to more dollars to good causes, which is fantastic.
And like what's crazy is this event is also relatively young. Like it is only growing. It is continuing to grow. And you know the other thing too is we're not in Florida right now doing this big event in person, and it's still popping off. It is still doing so amazing because we have this ability to do it online and, you know, reach people that they can't come to events, but they can tune in online and they can enjoy the event from Twitch. I mean, there's 600 people in here. The GCX event right now has another like 6,000 people watching there. And it's so cool that, you know, you don't have to be on location to do good. We can do it across the globe. And that's amazing.
And I only see that getting better. Because if you look at some of the trends in live streaming in the past few years, I mean, it kind of helps to contextualize what we're seeing in events like this. I mean, since 2019, the number of vocational streamers has doubled. It's actually double. It's not like, it's an increase of 20%, 50%. It's 100% increase in vocational streamers out there. There's a lot of people who have a platform now, especially with you think of the way that the pandemic affected the entertainment industry, and where people are starting to funnel their attention. Live streaming has been popping off. In fact, recent studies have shown that they're predicting that the live streaming industry is going to be worth, I want to make sure I get this right. Let me see what that article said. It was $184 billion by 2027 if it follows current trends.
That's almost enough. That's almost enough money for Twitch to get a proper set of rules in there.
Oh no!
Oh no! Topic number 5, we're going, baby. Last minute. I'm just kidding.
I mean, they got a lot of problems. I mean, we can get into that, but
oh brother, do we got another 45 minutes just for that? Like, you know what I mean?
And you know the crazy thing is though, is because we were talking about big brands, is you know a lot of these brands. I've kind of slept on the streamers and the YouTubers a little bit, and they're not advertising there, but now they really are. Like you're seeing pharmaceutical companies reaching out, like for like sustain eye drops, and like you're seeing, your boy's sponsored by Taco Bell. I mean, right? Like,
I was gonna say,
it is
you see
crazy.
These brands reach out to you, MTash. I don't see these brands. Right.
No, but they're reaching out to good content creators, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I was gonna say, if they're reaching out to you, they're certainly not reaching out to live content creators or content creators without a dead channel. Because me and you, we share that in common. We share a bond, our dead channels together, which is BS. Because why do I need this?
Yeah, we're meeting up next week for a funeral because those views are tanking
for both of our channels. Exactly. Now, but I do agree with you though. It is crazy. Like, you'll see these companies spend X amount of dollars or whatever on a billboard, and it's like, who actually looks at a billboard, like writes a number down as they drive by? And you'll see now that it's changing into actually getting these streamers not only just sponsorships, but just more corporate money in general. Lets people make better content, lets them do things, and it's just better for the environment. Because especially leading back to what we were talking about earlier, if you get more corporate interest in events like this, that's more donations as well. I know Logitech is a big part of this event, and that's fantastic. That's a huge brand lending their expertise, lending their resources to help St. Jude's, which is great.
No meme,
and everybody wins there.
You're gonna see Ninja streaming from McDonald's down the road. Like they've done like Lollapalooza. They're gonna do stuff like that, or instead of spending all the money on the Super Bowl, they're going to be like $1 million here for Shroud, $1 million here, $1 million here, $1 million. They're going to spread out that marketing budget to these content creators. And like, we're just seeing the beginning of where streaming is going to go. They're going to get paid eventually like some professional athletes, because the thing is like, oh, you're paying NHL players $5 million a year.
How much influence do they have, though?
Exactly. Some streamers are getting more views than the NHL does on a night of a hockey game. And like, if you look at NBA and NFL, some of these other sports that are a lot bigger. I mean, NHL is big in Canada, but like, if you look at the NFL, maybe not hitting those numbers just yet. But it's just getting bigger. As you said, $184 billion industry, more, like 100% growth in streamers, earning money, doing well. It can only go up.
Not only that, but an advertisement in front of, for example, 10,000 people on one platform is not the same as the exact same ad in front of 10,000 viewers on a different platform. Platform matters. And so, for example, if it's somebody that the viewer trusts, it's somebody the viewer tunes into on a regular basis, they like their opinions, they tend to line up with their own critical viewpoints on a lot of different topics. You know, if I'm watching a content creator that I tune into all the time, I'm going to take an advertisement that they promo a lot more seriously than when I'm watching an NFL game, because during the commercial times, I'm getting up and get another beer. I'm on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
So what we're saying is, please sponsor our 3 dead channels, guys, please. So I think that's our time, though. We're at our limit. So I think, right, Tash, or you know,
you got that timer over there. What are we looking like, Mike?
We have 8 minutes, and from what I can see here, it actually looks like someone just donated $10,000. His name was
crazy.
His name was ASMR Lover. And so, I mean, we might as well talk about it. The meta of Twitch,
what a shock,
has been changing like crazy. We had the hot tub meta, and you know, there's the console wars, but now there's the gamer wars. They're like, you are wearing bikinis on our streaming platform. It can't be done. Now you're licking microphones on Twitch, and that can't be done. But we actually saw some kind of crazy stuff. So with the hot tub streams, they were doing it in the just chatting section, and they moved them into the hot tub section. Now,
have their own hot tub category.
They have their own category. And everyone is like, you know what? Make your money. Make your money. You're doing your thing.
Do your hustle.
We said it too. We said it 100 times. It's like, whatever. Like, the people that are watching those streams, bro, they're not
my viewers.
They're not watching you play Warzone. They're not watching you play League of Legends. They want to watch a hot chick in a bikini. Brother, can't blame you. But here's the thing, is some of those channels, once they moved them in the other directory, it's just not as popular as just chatting. And so they saw some viewership go down. So they decided to jump into a new directory, ASMR. And now we're getting farting streams, ear licking streams, and you know,
it just helps me fall asleep.
Yes, yeah.
It helps me fall asleep.
100%.
I can't go to sleep if I don't hear some gentle ear licking noises. It's just who I am. That's what I tell my wife.
That's
when
what
she asks my search history. It's all good, baby. We're just falling asleep.
But the thing is now 2 of the bigger players, we saw Amaranth and Indie Fox, get banned. And so Twitch has said, hold on, this is now starting to cross the line. People are talking about it. It's been this huge debate going on. And it's like, where do you draw the line? Some people get an emote where it's just the torso of an animated character getting banned for sexuality. And then it's a girl in a literal bikini showing off her body. And it's like, well, that didn't get banned. And again, we've circled to this 15 times on the podcast. Twitch just doesn't know how to enforce rules. They don't know what the rules are.
No hate at all should ever go to the streamers. They're just doing their thing,
they're doing their hustle.
More power to them. The problem is that when Twitch takes one rule a certain way and maybe doesn't enforce it too seriously, and then takes other rules and enforces them extremely seriously, we saw a poor woman get banned indefinitely because she went to go pick up some food that was delivered by like Uber Eats, and her daughter went and interacted with the stream a bit. And Twitch said, wait, there's a rule about underage streamers. So they banned her account. And thankfully, because the internet and gamers are awesome, they came together and said, this isn't right. They recognized that something wasn't fair, and she got reinstated. Would she have if gamers didn't come together? I honestly don't think so. So
Mike, would your channel have been restored when it was, if there wasn't such an outrage?
I got banned for a week, and then everyone was like, hold on here, something's wrong, and they unbanned me. But it's like, if
you
no one,
banned
if there was no
telling
outrage,
people not to bully someone.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, is they're like,
what are you doing, Twitch?
Context matters. But but does it? And I think that's the frustration, is people just want to understand, what can I do and what can't I do? You know, and just be told what it is. People are getting copyright strikes. People are getting all this stuff, and it's like no one knows. No one feels safe.
Another one of the most important sort of ways to come at this conversation is people get too hung up on, is the sexuality right or wrong? That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is something entirely different. Is Twitch the right platform for that specific type of content? And this is where it gets sticky, because what will happen, we've seen it happen on other platforms like YouTube.
On YouTube, yep.
When content goes unregulated and you have advertisements from big companies that are on that content, sometimes those companies say, wait, our advertisement is playing on what kind of stream? On what kind of content?
You know what?
We need to rethink this.
And there goes Coca-Cola. Enjoy a nice Coca-Cola family brand. And you're like, whoa! So that's where I think we have to step in and say, listen, we have to draw the line somewhere, because this is not a victimless thing. At a certain point, it's actually going to start hurting the revenue streams of other streamers. You got the guy out there who's doing completely family-friendly content. He's not even swearing. He's playing T for teen games and has a really positive, uplifting kind of a stream and energy going on. And now his content is going to be receiving less revenue because advertisers are afraid to put their ads on that platform. So even though he did nothing wrong, he's actually taking a very clear and direct hit to his income because of what someone else is doing on the same platform. Or
that's
Twitch
matters.
Needs to allow people to sponsor certain categories and certain streamers easier, and so that doesn't happen, so they don't have to worry about their ads ending up somewhere they don't want them to.
And that was literally what happened with the PewDiePie adpocalypse thing. There was the clip of him playing PUBG. You can find it. That led to months and months. We're not talking like a couple days. We're talking months and months of people being demonetized on YouTube. Billions of dollars of ad revenue lost because
it wasn't just because it was because like
that was a catalyst, and then it
very
led to
sus unregulated videos of like war zones and stuff like that, right? And it's like, and then it would be like Coca-Cola, and you're like, whoa, but but it's also maybe advertisers need to learn that, like, obviously if they're sponsoring Twitch in general, it's not their fault, and like
they're playing roulette a little bit.
No one blames them though. No one's like, wow, Coca-Cola supports this. It's like, no, it just randomly ended up here by accident. I think most people realize that, but very nuanced. Hard topic. All we know is that eventually we are doing an RGH hot tub stream, baby. All three of us in the hot tub. We're doing it. Let's do it. And that's all I know from this whole thing.
Right. Actually, I watched a video from Ludwig, and he made a video about it. And he's like, I like Amaranth and all that stuff, but there is these kind of weird levels where it's just like, is this too much? Is it not enough? And he kind of makes a comment. He's like, put that on the TV in the living room, and just see what your parents say. Like, just see what they say, and then I think you've got a pretty good idea. Like, if you're a kid watching, just do that and see, like, is that family friendly? Because he kind of goes to, I think he goes to Soda Poppin', and he's playing World of Warcraft. He's like, this is considered a mature audience. Like, I can't even watch a stream until I click, I'm mature. But then you go to these other ones, and it's just like, hey, look at this. And so, it's even if you just moderate it better or force them, to be labeled correctly. Maybe that fixes it, but it's a wild west out there. It's a wild west in streaming and content.
You're gonna see this though. Like you said, streaming is increasing massively. The number of streamers have doubled. People are gonna do some crazy stuff to get ahead, right?
They're trying to get seen,
and it's working. Like, you have a million streamers. Twitch does not do a very good job of promoting new streamers, right?
No. So you got to stand out somehow.
You got to stand out somehow.
And if licking a mic gives you 28,000 viewers, then Pog. Like, seriously.
Pog champ, dude. There's more viewers than I get. Like, that's for sure.
We only have about 45 more seconds. So thank you so much for having us. If you haven't donated already, make sure to donate. There's a link down below. There's a link in the comment section or the Twitch chat there. This has been an amazing experience. Hopefully we can see you next year. This is the RGH Podcast. Yeah, huge thank you. Go.
Huge thank you to the random person who donated the 10K so we could talk about the AMR stuff.
We appreciate it.
It's not our fault. It was the donations. It's not our fault.
We appreciate it. We are the RGH Podcast Wednesday night, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm MTashed.
I'm Kakas HD.
Our podcast is on YouTube. I'm True Vanguard.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
You'll find us. Thank you so much.
Professionals.
This is a lot of fun. Hopefully you had some fun, and keep raising money for St. Jude. That's it. I think we're done. I think we just stop it. We just stop it?
All right.
Hello?
I don't know.